Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Kingdom of Light Inventory. Starting from Hikari to Play Memes. This book is also known as Starting from Hikari's Inventory of Plays. One hand raising the Beiniao. A peculiar screen appeared, shocking everyone in the heavens and all worlds. On the screen, there is a continuous stream of bizarre hot jokes produced in the world of Ultraworld, captivating. Inventory the unique hot memes in the Ultraworld. Hikari. I'm just a scientist, I don't have that powerful power. Dana. Since ancient times, we have lost on the left side of Bo, except for Dana, this pig. Sero. Slide all the way from the ceiling of combat power into the ICU. Di Jia. Giant mountain superb. Broken horn demon. Every meme has a profound meaning behind it, making everyone in all dimensions know this brave and respectable warrior. Even the divine Ultraman, there are so many little known anecdotes behind his back. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Inventory of Ultraworld Encyclopedia, Kneeling for Fresh. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Zeta World. What is this? In the Zeta wonderful house, Zeta and Yao Hui both looked at the sudden appearance of a virtual screen and had doubts in their hearts. Is this also the technology of your country of light? Yao Hui asked curiously. The Ultraman race is a very wonderful existence for Yao Hui. It doesn't look very similar. Zeta touched her chin and carefully observed the virtual screen in front of her. Although it is common to see Captain Hikari summoning a virtual screen for scientific research. But this virtual screen gave Zeta a completely different feeling. Obviously, this is definitely not the technology of the Land of Light. Zeta tried to touch the screen, but found her hand piercing through directly. You can only touch a ball of air. And what the two of them don't know is, not only in this Zeta wonderful house, but also in the outside world, such virtual screens have appeared. Dig a world. What is this? Is it also your super ancient technology? Dagu looked at the virtual screen in front of him and was momentarily confused. I was originally asking Yoyen for information about Dijia. Halfway through the question, the virtual screen suddenly popped up. This really scared Dagu. Yoyen looked at the virtual screen in front of her and frowned slightly. As the commander of the Earth Security Corps 30 million years ago, she can be said to have a deep understanding of all the ancient technologies. So she was very certain that the thing in front of her was definitely not something from 30 million years ago. Just why did it suddenly appear here? This made Yoyen very curious. Meanwhile, on K76 star. Zero, if you don't show your true abilities again, you will die. Leo clenched his fist with angry eyes, and a powerful aura emanated from him, shaking the surrounding ground. And Zero, who had just been kicked out by Leo, quickly stood up after rolling a few laps on the ground. Zero's face was filled with disapproval. Bastard, if it weren't for this ugly armor on your body, I would have cleaned you up long ago. Even if Leo is the strongest fighting king in the Kingdom of Light. Zero still expressed dissatisfaction. In his eyes, he is the strongest Ultraman warrior, the fighting king, and will eventually be defeated by himself. Watching such a rebellious Zero, Leo sighed slightly in his heart. I didn't expect my personality to jump like this, even though I am Siwen's son. But make Zero a little more composed and find the meaning of the battle. This is also the reason why Severn paid Ceroto to Leo. So for the sake of Zero's future growth, let's put in a little more effort ourselves. Leo clenched his fist just as he was about to take action. Suddenly, a screen appeared in front of them. What is this? Zero looked at the virtual screen, his eyes full of confusion. What wonderful prop was created by the King of Ultras again? Leo shook his head slightly. It doesn't seem like a prop created by Wang. Can it be a surveillance facility invested by astronauts? Leo condensed his energy into his fist, and a red light suddenly appeared. Boom boom. A powerful shock wave surges out and directly creates several hundred meters of ravines on the ground. And in this shock wave, the virtual screen remains intact. The attack just now seemed to have penetrated directly. Is it something that doesn't exist? Zero also tried to touch it with his hands, but found that he didn't touch anything. Can be seen, but not touched. This is the first time that Zero has encountered such a situation. And just as he was still curious, a layer of golden characters gradually appeared on the virtual screen. Inventory of odd world characters and hot stories. This video is transformed by Dadao and spreads to all worlds in the universe prison. Odd hot memes about Ultraworld characters. It seems a bit interesting. Belia, who was in a sealed state, looked at the virtual screen in front of her and a hint of surprise flashed in her eyes. At first, when this virtual screen appeared, he didn't pay any attention. After all, for him, how to break the seal is the most important thing. But seeing this title makes him have to pay attention. Belia has been sealed in this cosmic prison for tens of thousands of years. Equivalent to completely isolating oneself from the outside world. I have no idea what changes have occurred in the Kingdom of Light during these tens of thousands of years. His biggest idea now is to seek revenge from the Ultraman warriors of the Land of Light and retrieve his lost gigabit fighting device. If this virtual screen can play external events, that could help Belia gain more intelligence. At the same time, in the Kingdom of Light, all the Ultras stood on the square, staring at the virtual screen. Hikari, have you analyzed the origin of this virtual screen? Otto's father looked at Hikari and frowned slightly. Report to Captain, this screen is a completely void existence, and its structure cannot be analyzed. It can only be said that a mysterious force has manifested this screen in front of us. Hikari shook his head. It was also the first time he had encountered such a situation. It was too strange to explain it with the technology of the Land of Light. At this point, the font on the virtual screen changes again. Inventory of odd world characters. I am just a scientist and do not have the power they possess, Hikari. Why does this sentence sound so familiar to me? Then on the screen, a blue figure appeared. Looking at this blue figure, the Ultras on the square of the Kingdom of Light immediately began to exclaim in surprise. Look, Officer Hikari's figure appears on the screen. Judging from the meaning of this title, does it mean to expose the powerful power hidden in Chief Hikari? Perhaps it's really possible. In the universe prison, Belia saw the blue figure appearing on the screen, and a hint of disdain flashed in her eyes. I didn't expect the first one to appear to be the Blue Clan warrior. How much combat power can a mere blue warrior have? Hikari and Zophie are of the same age. So when Belia was not yet blackened, he also met Hikari. At that time, Hikari was just an ordinary scientist. He is not on the same level as Belia. For the first meme of this virtual screen, Belia still sneered. However, in order to understand the situation outside, let's continue to read on. The font is gradually beginning to dissipate. After the font completely dissipates, the screen also begins to appear. The video has officially started playing. Chapter 2. I am just a scientist, without them. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The video screen begins to play. More and more people around the world are starting to watch this video. At the beginning of the video, it was in a wonderful space. There are gentle halos everywhere in this space. A large number of light particles surround the surroundings. Surrounded by these light particles, it is Hikari Ultraman. A picture is presented in front of Hikari. The screen displays the figures of the Ott brothers. A gentle female voice began to ring. In the Kingdom of Light, we have heard the legend of safeguarding cosmic peace and the existence of the Cosmic Guard. Are you also a member there? The screen dissipates. Hikari shook his head and said calmly. No, I'm just a scientist, so I don't have the power they have. And Hikari's words naturally aroused the recognition of many Auto warriors in the Land of Light. Yes, what combat power can scientists have? There are 3 races in the Kingdom of Light. Red Clan, Blue Clan, Silver Clan. The red and silver races are born with extremely high combat talents. Especially the Silver Clan, they are among the best. So the Silver Clan is also known as the nobles of the Kingdom of Light. For example, Beria, the father of Ott, Mobius, and so on. And the Blue Clan was born with combat talent. But compared to the Red Clan, that's still too far apart. However, while the heavens closed a door, they also opened a window for them. Compared to the Red race, the Blue race has a smarter mind and more delicate thoughts. So when conducting research, it's very handy. Over time, the Kingdom of Light has an unwritten rule. The Red and Silver tribes bravely killed the enemy at the forefront of the battlefield. The Blue Clan is responsible for conducting research and providing support later on. Various races cooperate with each other to contribute to the peace of the universe. However, this also makes many Ultras ignore the combat power possessed by the Blue Ultras themselves. Zeta World. Are all the Ultra warriors of the Blue Clan scientists? Is it difficult, Zeta? Are you also a scientist in the Land of Light? Yao Hui raised doubts. Based on the relatively immature combat skills demonstrated by Zeta before, it doesn't seem like an elite Ultraman. If the Blue Warriors of the Kingdom of Light are all scientists, so Zeta's performance is quite reasonable. Facing Yao Hui's question, Zeta couldn't help but twitch his lips. In the Kingdom of Light, his practical and theoretical achievements are both at the bottom of the list. I also happen to cross the passing line in the Space Guard. Even if you want to become a scientist, it also depends on whether Zeta has this strength. Of course, Zeta would not say to Yao Hui that he is the crane tail of the Kingdom of Light. So he pretended to speak solemnly. Yao Hui, although I am an Ultraman of the Blue Clan, I do not belong to the Kingdom of Light, but rather to the galaxies surrounding the Kingdom of Light. So the set of the Kingdom of Light is not very suitable for me either. Yao Hui nodded thoughtfully. I see, it seems that the Kingdom of Light is quite large. After speaking, Yao Hui continued to watch the video. Seeing that he had finally fooled Yao Hui, Zeta silently sighed in her heart. At this point, other images appeared on the screen. I saw Hikari standing on a desolate planet. The sky was shrouded in dark clouds, pouring heavy rain. If you can change this weather, I will give you powerful strength. Next to Hikari, there is an old man wearing a red robe. But the cloak covered his face, making it difficult for the audience to see the old man's appearance clearly. Dig a world. Good guy, can Ultraman change the weather? Hear the words of the old man. Dagu couldn't help but be startled. He has just experienced the first battle. In my heart, I believe that giants are just possessing extremely powerful power and some powerful light skills. Is it really possible to change the weather like this outrageous thing? If we really do it, wouldn't it be similar to a god? Yolien also expressed doubts. 30 million years ago, giants were everywhere on Earth. There are also many powerful giants. But none of them can change the weather of the planet. Even Dijia is like this, mainly because Dijia has never tried it before. If the scientists of the Kingdom of Light can really change the weather, so aren't the generals of the Kingdom of Light even more outrageous? More people from around the world are also curious and looking at the scene behind them. Hikari looked up at the sky and pondered. The light particles condensed on his arm, and blue lightning flashed. When the aura of the power of light reaches its peak, Hikari will unleash the condensed energy in one breath. The blue light shot straight into the sky. ZZZZ. The moment when the light penetrates through the dark clouds. People from all over the world widened their eyes. Because they all saw it. Under the influence of light. Unexpectedly, the dark clouds were directly evaporated and gradually dissipated. It's just a few seconds. The dark clouds that enveloped the entire planet have all dissipated. The heavy rain stopped and the sunlight returned to the ground. Hikari really did it. With the power of one person, it directly changed the weather of the entire planet. Hush. Shocked. In the universe prison. Even if it's Belia. Seeing the battle displayed by Hikari at this moment, a hint of curiosity flashed in his eyes. He can also change the weather on the planet. Not even too simple. It's really unbelievable that a blue scientist can do such a thing. The difficulty lies in this Hikari, who also harbors extremely powerful combat potential. If that's really the case, then it would be fun. Is it only Hikari who is so strong, or have the scientists of the Land of Light become so strong? This actually made Beria curious. Zeta World. My goodness, Captain Hikari can still do such a thing. Zeta saw this scene and felt that her worldview had been fiercely refreshed. In his impression, the impression of Hikari is gentle and refined. Mastering the most advanced technology of the Kingdom of Light. He is the most powerful scientist in the Kingdom of Light and one of the key protected objects of the Space Guard. However, now in the video, Officer Hikari has managed to change the weather of the entire planet with his own light. The power of this light is too terrifying. The strength has far surpassed many members of the Space Guard. Who is protecting who on Earth? And the Hikari in this video is much younger than the current Hikari, which is the former Hikari. The past Hikari has become so outrageous. How powerful is Hikari now? Zeta is completely unimaginable. Chapter 3. Have you ever met a scientist who raised a shell bird with one hand? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Are the scientists of the Kingdom of Light so powerful? Yao Hui also widened his eyes, filled with admiration. At the same time, he also looked at Zeta beside him. Everyone is an Ultraman warrior from the Blue Clan. How could we just pull our hips here at Zeta? Dig a world. I really managed to change the weather. Dagu's eyes were filled with surprise. Usually speaking of scientists, the figure of Hori always comes to Dagu's mind. Basically, they are responsible for logistics work, and the combat effectiveness on the front line is not very high. This is also a common understanding of scientists. Hikari did indeed break this point fiercely. Let them see. Scientists can also be very powerful. Looking at the virtual screen, it seems like there is still a picture behind it. They continued to watch towards the back of the video. What nobody expected was. The next scene is much more shocking than it is now. The screen rotates. Arrived on another planet. Hikari's figure appeared. Standing in front of him was the figure of another monster. Look at this monster. Many Ultraman warriors in the Kingdom of Light were surprised. That's the cosmic monster Bemontistan. Among the entire monster lineup, it belongs to a relatively top-notch existence. Yeah, back then, Senior Jack lost to Bemonstein. Even Jack, who has accumulated enough combat experience to experience on Earth. When fighting against Bemonstein, he also suffered a defeat. There's no way. The name of the cosmic monster is not for nothing. Don't be fooled by the fact that in the later dramas, Bemonstein becomes a cute creature. But in Ultraman's world, it is a terrifying existence. Even the elite Ultras of the Kingdom of Light have no absolute confidence in defeating them. So can Hikari defeat it? This is also what many Ultra Warriors have Zeta World. Looking at Beimingston on the screen, Yao Hui sent a question. Is this Bemontistan very powerful? Zeta held her hands and explained. He's not a problem of being fierce or not, it belongs to that kind of monster with a bit of uniqueness. If it's an Ultraman who specializes in physical skills, he can also be defeated. But if the Ultra Warriors who rely on light to defeat monsters and confront Bamanta, they will suffer a lot. In the schools of the Land of Light, our teachers have taught us that we must not use light when dealing with Bamanta. Whoever uses it is a fool. Because Berenstein can absorb light. I heard that this monster can absorb light. Yao Hui frowned slightly. For Ultra Warriors, this is indeed a very tricky special ability. After transforming into the Zeta battle, Yao Hui was also able to experience the power of light firsthand. If light cannot solve the monster, there is indeed no other way to deal with the monster. If they were to face Berenstein, it's highly likely that both of them would lose. So the two of them became even more curious. How will Hikari get rid of Berenstein? In the video, the battle has already begun. Hikari took the initiative to charge towards Bemunstein. When the distance between the two sides was still more than 10 meters, Hikari clenched his fists, concentrated his strength, and then instantly exploded. Bang! Hikari's fist hit Bemunstein's body with a muffled sound. Even with this powerful punch. For Bemunstein, it's just not painful or itchy. Berenstein only shook his body slightly, and his powerful force directly pushed Hikari back a few steps. After stabilizing his body, Hikari launched another attack. After several rounds, there was still no damage caused to the opponent. Berenstein's attack caused comprehensive suppression of Hikari. Golden bullets burst out from Bemunstein's head one after another, causing Hikari to retreat. Hikari can be said to have no fighting power. At this critical moment, a huge red ball of light descended from the sky. The one who came was none other than Zophie. Seeing Zophie's appearance, the Ultraman of the Kingdom of Light suddenly realized. So it was with the help of Officer Zophie. That's true. With Captain Zophie present, defeating Bemunstein wouldn't be a big problem. However, their thoughts were still too simple. In the midst of things. With the addition of Zophie, it was indeed a suppression of Berenstein. And the focus is on the back of the video. Under the pincer attack of two Ultraman warriors, Berenstein is gradually in a losing position. I can't beat these two Ultras at all. Bemunstein felt timid and planned to run away. And how could Hikari possibly give him this opportunity? As Bemunstein was about to fly away, Hikari pounced and pressed it directly onto the ground. Next up, the scene that shocked the Ultraman came. After Shikali threw Bemunstein to the ground again, he held his back with his right hand and slowly stood up to lift Bemunstein above his head. Hush! Shocked. Shocked again. The Ultra Warriors of the Kingdom of Light doubt whether their eyes are blurred. Hikari surprisingly lifted Bemunstein above his head. It was raised above the head with one hand. It's too outrageous, isn't it? Generally speaking, the weight of Ultraman warriors is around 30,000 tons. As a cosmic monster, Berenstein's weight must be even more outrageous, starting at least 60,000 tons. And in the video. However, Hikari lifted the monster weighing 60,000 tons with one hand. This is really something that a scientist can do. Zeta World. Officer Hikari's physical body is so fierce. Zeta suddenly began to doubt her abilities. Is it difficult to lift this monster? Yao Hui was puzzled. Of course. Zeta explained excitedly. Bemunstein's weight is generally around 61,000 tons. My weight is only 33,000 tons, and so is Officer Hikari. So this also means that Officer Hikari lifted himself nearly twice the weight with one hand. The elite Ultra Warriors of the Kingdom of Light may not be able to achieve this. Even if we were to turn into Alpha Blades, it would probably be very difficult for us to lift Berenstein up with both hands. After listening to Zeta's explanation, with a comparison in mind, Yao Hui finally had a general understanding in his heart. Clearly understand how outrageous Hikari's actions are at this moment. Boom boom. After lifting Bemunstein with one hand, Hikari threw directly towards the nearby hill. Berenstein's terrifying weight directly smashed the mountain to pieces. This further illustrates how outrageous Hikari is. Chapter 4. Using light to explode Beiniao. Kneeling for fresh food. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Dig a world. De Gu saw Hikari's outrageous performance. I am also comparing myself in my heart. Can one transform into a Diga and then become a powerful type? I always feel that the power exerted by Hikari is already enough to compete with the powerful type. More importantly, while possessing such formidable power, Hikari's speed has not been reduced in any way. It can still be attacked at a very fast speed. In this comparison, Hikari has completely crushed the strong type. Are scientists in the Kingdom of Light so outrageous? This also made Daegu curious. What kind of existence is the Kingdom of Light? If given the opportunity, I must go and take a look myself. Just as Bemonstein stood up swaying and swaying. Hikari has already gathered energy in his hands, and the powerful power of light has once again condensed. Seeing Hikari like this, numerous ultras immediately began to doubt. What is Chief Hikari planning to do? Is it difficult for him to plan on using the light skill? Didn't the school say that they couldn't use the light skill on Bemonten? Officer Hikari should have understood this common sense. It is normal for these ultra warriors to have doubts. For the outside world, they mostly learned about it from textbooks in the Land of Light. They have not yet engaged in actual combat. I don't know a word. That is, as long as the power is strong enough, all theories can be overturned. When the aura of light reaches its peak, Hikari released the condensed energy. A burst of blue light. Facing the incoming light, Berenstein's first reaction was naturally to engulf it. Based on past experience, the skills of these ultra warriors should not harm themselves. So you can confidently inhale with confidence. However, he underestimated the power of Hikari's light. When the light enters the mouth of Bemonstein's abdomen, Berenstein can indeed easily absorb it. And accompanied by the absorption of light, Berenstein's combat effectiveness is also constantly improving. Ordinary ultras see this situation. It is definitely to stop emitting light and avoid more energy consumption. Hikari did not do so. If Berenstein wants to smoke, then Hikari will let him smoke enough. Hikari not only did not stop emitting light, but also increased the output of light. The heat energy released from the light is higher than before. Berenstein couldn't help but widen his eyes. It really didn't expect that there would be ultra warriors operating like this. At the beginning, Berenstein was able to absorb it very easily. It is accompanied by the passage of time. His body is accumulating more and more energy. It is about to exceed his absorption range. This Hikari is still unwilling to stop. Berenstein was also unable to block further absorption. So the light began to push Berenstein back gradually. After taking a few steps back, the blue light bloomed from within Bemonten's body. Boom boom boom. The moment when the blue light becomes the most dazzling, Berenstein's body experienced a violent explosion. The flames of the explosion shot straight into the sky, forming a huge mushroom cloud. Many people saw this scene. Everyone fell into silence. The Ultraman of the Kingdom of Light also feels that his worldview has been refreshed. Zeta World. Yao Hui looked at Zeta. Because Zeta just said it. Can't use enough light to deal with Berenstein. Whoever uses it is a fool. However, in this video, Hikari not only used the light skill, he even used his light skills to kill Berenstein. This is completely inconsistent with what Zeta just said. He also realized this. What he said was all about what was taught in the school of the Kingdom of Light. What the school teaches is quite different from what Officer Hikari does. Zeta is also very puzzled now. I feel that the common sense of the Kingdom of Light cannot be applied to Hikari anymore. In the universe prison, Belia was also amazed by Hikari's operation. It seems that the energy storage in this Hikari's body is quite abundant. Being able to use light to forcefully burst Berenstein. Hikari has rich combat experience. It can be fully seen how Hikari defeated Bemonton. Even if it were replaced with the most ordinary Spisium light in the Land of Light. In fact, it can also blow up Berenstein. This is just the most important thing. Can the energy in the body support oneself to emit light for a long time? As long as it can continuously emit light. So sooner or later, it will be possible to reach the absorption limit of Bemontistan. But this upper limit has been broken. So the absorption capacity of Bemontistan will also become ineffective. And it will also release all the previously absorbed light energy, causing a massive explosion within oneself. Then this big explosion will shatter the body. This way, we can successfully defeat Bemonton. However, with such abundant energy reserves, Ultra Warriors, it can also be considered one of the few in the entire Kingdom of Light. Moreover, Hikari is still a scientist. Not receiving specialized combat training. Being able to achieve this level, it's already very good. Just for Beria, it's not really enough to see it all. Are there any other scenes after watching the video? Gaia World. Can scientists really become so powerful? I dreamt of watching Hikari in the video. My eyes are also filled with admiration. But his situation is different. Hikari himself is a scientist. And Gaia is not. His human body is High Mountain, my dream is. I originally thought that as a scientist, I couldn't handle Ultraman's power very well. But with the example of Hikari, I fully understood the high mountains in my dream. Scientists can also become very powerful. You can also defeat all monsters with your fists. And Fujiya, who is also a scientist. Seeing Hikari perform so brilliantly, my eyes lit up. Everyone is blue and they are all scientists. It's really too similar, isn't it? And Fujiya also felt a sense of familiarity from Hikari. But Hikari's fierce attack moves. I believe he is also a swordsman. I will also use powerful lightsaber skills. But in the video, Hikari did not demonstrate this skill. But Fujiya's intuition told him so. As a scientist, I also need to become stronger. Fujiya clenched her fist in order to successfully save this planet. I must use a guru's power to the extreme. Immediately, he began to exercise. The video is still playing. Chapter 5. More and more outrageous, 1.on.1 battle against Amperella star. You are listening at novelfull.audio. See that the video is still playing. More people from around the world are once again beginning to wonder. Zeta World. What exactly did Chief Hikari do back then? Why is the video still playing towards the back now? Zeta's eyes were filled with shock. The more battles are played in the video. This also represents how powerful Hikari's combat power is. Now they can all lift Bemonstein with one hand. So, wouldn't the videos played later be even more outrageous? It seems that I can't underestimate those scientists in the future. Zeta silently murmured in her heart. Dig a world. If scientists from 30 million years ago could have the combat power of Hikari, it is certain that the super-ancient civilization would not have been destroyed. After watching this short video, Yoyen silently sighed. 30 million years ago. Numerous giants died in internal strife. And scientists watching from the side can only be powerless. If they also possess the powerful combat power of Hikari. What about the internal strife among giants? They raised their hands and stopped the internal strife. Then let all the giants join forces. It is estimated that even the evil god Gatanjal can follow and solve it. The ancient civilization would not have been destroyed. Trega World. I didn't expect the scientist Ultraman to unleash such formidable combat power. If Zhang becomes an Ultraman, will he become as powerful as Hikari? In the research laboratory of the base, Jianwu stood by Zhang side, teasing him. Zhang mouth twitched at the words. Forget it, whoever loves to be this ultra warrior, I'm not the one. At the beginning, Zhang studied Trega's victory light stick in order to become an Ultraman warrior. Has the power to protect the name. But after this period of fighting, Zhang gradually dispelled this idea. This Ultraman is indeed a very good choice to give to Sword Wudong. Because the overtime intensity in this world is really too high. Just like a few days ago. Jianwu woke up at 6:00 in the morning and transformed into Trega, eliminating the monster. Then around noon, another monster has appeared. Jianwu naturally transforms into combat. After defeating the monster, at 5 or 6 in the evening, there are monsters appearing again. At least Ultraman has to fight 3 times a day. Who can bear this? The monster only appears once a day, it's almost becoming a luxury. If Zhang really turns into an Ultraman warrior, I guess I'll be driven crazy by this overtime intensity. Jianwu has a good mentality and can continue to hold on. And Jianwu also has no right to say Hikari. Because before joining the elite victory team, Jianwu is a botanist. More biased than scientists. As a botanist, the combat power demonstrated by Jianwu is much stronger than that of Hikari. Taijia World, in a CAFA. I didn't expect Officer Hikari to have such an excellent record. Wuqi looked at the screen, leisurely drinking coffee. When Hikari dealt with this Bamontan, Torgia has long left the Kingdom of Light to seek the power of evil gods. So it is completely unknown about this battle. When I saw that Hikari's power could directly use light to burst Bamontistan, Wuqi naturally expressed surprise. My former superior had even more incredible combat effectiveness than I had imagined. And the video is still playing towards the back. How powerful will Hikari demonstrate in combat? Wuqi is also curious. The following video will start playing. This time scene. I have come to Earth. The entire Earth is shrouded in darkness. The cold wind seems to be coming out of the video and rushing towards every audience member. Looking at the scene on the screen, everyone also expressed surprise. What exactly happened to the Earth in this universe? How could it be shrouded in such a powerful dark force? Very soon, 2 more figures appeared in front of everyone. One of them is the familiar Hikari, who is the protagonist of this video. However, at this moment, Hikari was covered in scars and still wearing a set of silver armor, with much stronger combat power than before. Across from Hikari, there was a figure covered in pitch black. This figure exudes a strong aura all over its body. This aura almost made many viewers bow down and pay homage. This is the ultimate imperial aura. In the universe prison. Looking at this black figure, Belia's eyes flashed with surprise. This is the Amperella man. How could he go to such a remote planet, and Hikari still have to fight him alone? Tens of thousands of years ago, Belia, who had not been blackened, had fought against the Amperians. Of course, it was a move taken by the other party and flew out. Belia can be said to have no fighting power in front of him. Finally, relying on the true power of the father of Ultraman to fully open, and then cooperating with the ultimate blade. Just barely repelled it. Even if Hikari wears this armor, the combat effectiveness cannot be on par with the father of Otto. So facing the Ampere RA people, undoubtedly, it was a flash sale. And even in this situation, Hikari is still fighting him alone. This is quite unbelievable, isn't it? Has it really been difficult for Hikari to have a 1.1 fight? A large number of questions surrounded Belia's heart. If that's really the case. After breaking through the seal, one must be careful of this guy Hikari. Zeta World. I don't know, this is the Amperella man. It's outrageous that Officer Hikari is going to have a 1.1 battle with the Amperella people. Zeta jumped up in fear. Isn't this Amperella person very difficult? Yao Hui couldn't help but be curious when he saw Zeta's tremendous reaction. This is no longer a matter of whether they are fierce or not. As the Emperor of Darkness, the people of Amperella possess the strongest power of darkness. Let me tell you this, even if there are 10,000 of them, I will only be rubbed on the ground by the other person's hand if I go to surround the Amperella people. How could it be so outrageous? With such a sharp contrast, Yao Hui immediately had an understanding of the power of the Amperella people in his heart. If an enemy of this level appears in their world, then the world is considered completely destroyed. It's just so outrageous, maybe my metaphor would even belittle the Amperella people. Anyway, my strength is definitely even more outrageous than what I said, that's right. Zeta gradually regained calmness. Compared to single-handedly fighting against the Amperella people, using light to support Bermanstein is no longer a big deal. After all, the two are no longer enemies on the same horizontal line. Zeta wants to take a look. Pick up the Ampere-laxing man alone. What will Hikari's long light show? Chapter 6. Fierce Battle. Kneeling to beg for flowers and moon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Such a strength gap cannot be filled by a single number. In the video, the cosmic swordsmen Zamsha and Hikari have numerous scars of battle, and the situation is extremely critical. Before Hikari arrived, Zamsha had already engaged in a battle with the Ampere Star people. The cosmic swordsman wielded the sharp blade star/pill, which could cut open comets, and with all his might, he was hit by the Ampere Star man casually and flew out. The video footage of bizarre hot memes, while also connecting with Wanjia. One Piece World. This sword was actually blocked too. On the Sunshine Mary, Saran watched as Zam Xia was defeated, with a hint of surprise in his eyes. As a swordsman, he could naturally see how powerful the attack contained in Zam Xia's sword. In the meme video, the cosmic swordsman Zamsha gathers all his strength, and Xingzanmu bears the immense sword intent, even the sword body begins to emit a mournful cry. Subsequently, with a stunning strike from Zamsha stone, even the space was cut to pieces and trembled. The dense dark clouds and dark matter brought by the arrival of the Dark Emperor have been faintly cut open. But even so, it was still easily cracked by the Amperella people. The world of Ultraman. Whispering. Sauron murmured to himself. Gaia world. What? That level of swordsmanship doesn't work either. Fujiya Hirano had a rare expression of surprise on his paralyzed face. He is also a skilled swordsman, so he can naturally see the power of Zam Xia's technique. If it were him, 10,000 Agurus would not be able to wield such devastating power with their swords. But he was easily pushed by the Ampere Star man and flew out directly. Fujiya Hirano has started to doubt swordsmanship. In the face of absolute strength, any skill is just a clown acrobatics. The Kingdom of Light. The cosmic swordsman was beaten so hard that he couldn't even fight back. This. How could this be possible? The new generation soldiers of the Kingdom of Light all had a surprised expression on their faces, their throats bulging, and their breathing was rapid. They have also heard of the reputation of the cosmic swordsman, but the so-called swordsman was beaten to the point of being powerless in front of the Amperella people. Even a swordsman cannot gain any benefits under the command of the Amperella people. Ot Saiwan, the first generation other older generation Ot warriors were filled with emotions and clenched their fists tightly. The video is still playing, and under the mental attack of the Amperella people, Zamsha is thrown back and forth like a rag puppet, where can one still see the glory of a swordsman? It's useless. It's too weak. Rebels must die. The Dark Emperor burst out laughing, reached out and weakly grasped, as he was about to destroy the phoenix nest. And at this moment, a bright light rose up, and Hikari transformed into a late arrival, blocking this devastating blow. Hikari Ultraman. The guy's team members in the video ignited some hope in their hearts. It's Officer Hikari. The audience in front of the video also showed anticipation. This is a video with the theme of Hikari. I believe that the appearance of Chief Hikari can definitely turn the tide, right? Bang! As a result, before everyone could react, Hikari, who had transformed, was directly thrown out by the destructive power of the Dark Emperor and collapsed to the ground, unable to move, and even unable to hold on for 3 seconds. How could that be so? The hope that the guy's team members finally raised is once again shattered. Even the viewers watching the video are full of despair. The Sagara dragon in the video is even more reckless as he sits on an old-fashioned fighter jet, ready to charge out of the base and engage in a deadly battle with the Amperellas. Dig a world. Why was he beaten down in less than 3 seconds? The new city team members showed a surprised expression, somewhat incredulous. Everyone thought that Hikari's transformation could turn the tide, but he was directly blasted out by the Dark Emperor. Damn! How can we see hope in this? The Yerue team member angrily pounded the control panel, his eyes filled with despair and confusion. How strong and unreasonable is this Ampere-laxing person? I can't resist. I can't resist at all. Dagu clenched the divine light stick in his hand, feeling suffocated. Even after transforming into a Diga, he would only be a puppet toy when facing the Amperellas. There's no room for a fight. Space prison. Ha ha ha. Sure enough, it's just a toy for the Amperella people. Belia smashed the seal while sneering. The power of light, under the oppression of darkness, is so vulnerable. K-76 planet. Did you see it, Sero? This is the truly powerful enemy. Leo smashed the boulder next to Zero with a punch and shouted angrily. Our current training is just a drizzle. Can you still speak wildly when facing enemies like the Amperians? Leo's voice was deafening, and Zero felt frustrated. He countered Leo's attack with a punch. Long-winded. No matter what kind of star person you are, just bring them over. The oppressive feeling of the Dark Emperor did not erase Zero's sharpness. On the contrary, now Zero is becoming more and more energetic, wanting to quickly end his training and go to the universe to confront the strong players from all sides. In the video, Xiang Yuanlong has already piloted a fighter jet to the battlefield. Captain Chinza. Did you see it? This is what we need to protect. The shout of the Sagara dragon made Hikari regain his strength. Ah! Hikari and Zamsha stood up at the same time with great tacit understanding, holding the Star Slayer Maru and lightsaber, and charged towards the Ampere Starman. Two great swordsmanship masters in the universe are simultaneously taking action, giving their all, concentrating all their strength on the blade, only to be able to repel the Dark Emperor. The Sagara dragon in the sky has also launched the Spisium missile. The air seemed to freeze, and in the face of attacks from 3 directions, the Dark Emperor seemed to be at a disadvantage at first glance. Everyone held their breath and stared at this scene, hoping that the Dark Emperor could be defeated. Just as the attack was about to hit the Dark Emperor, he moved. Humph. With a cold snort, the Dark Emperor restrained the attacks of Hikari and Zamsha with just one palm. The 2 swords stopped in the palm of the Ampere Star Man's hand, unable to move and unable to move half a step forward. And the Spisium missile didn't even touch the Amperes. This time, everyone's heart sank to the bottom. The Kingdom of Light. The simultaneous attacks of the 2 great swordsmen. Surprisingly, they couldn't cause any damage at all. The new generation of Ultraman warriors were all stunned. They all thought that this joint attack would leave some injuries on the Amperians no matter what. In the end, they didn't even scratch their skin. The power of these two sword blade slashing strikes. Even we can never withstand it. Otseven, the first generation, Jack, and other Lao Ao shook their heads and sighed. Unless they transform into Super Tyro together, they can barely resist. But that's just a matter of resistance. The Ampere Star Man easily reached out and restrained the two slashes. Make a high and low judgment. Zeta World. Is this the formidable enemy who caused endless calamity to the Kingdom of Light 30,000 years ago? Terrifying. Zeta swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He found that he had overestimated himself by not being able to hold on to the Ampere RA people as he had previously mentioned 10,000. Chapter 7. The Death of Sword Heroes. Unparalleled Darkness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Even 100,000 or 1,000,000 of oneself cannot shake a single hair of the Dark Emperor's sweat. Not to mention anything else, the ability to stop the attacks of the two great swordsmanship masters with one hand is enough to strike oneself 1,000 times. One Piece World. Even such attacks can be swept away, Ultraman's world. What kind of world is it? Eagle-eyed Mihawk grabbed the handle of the knife behind him, his eagle-like gaze fixed on the attacks of Hikari and Zamsha in the video. Even through the video, he could see how terrifying the joint attack of these two swordsmen was. But facing the Dark Emperor, there is still no strength to fight back. Mihawk's confidence in swordsmanship, which he believed was invincible, collapsed at this moment. In the video, after stopping their attack, the Dark Emperor waved his hand and bounced Hikari and Zamsha out. He. It's useless. The Dark Emperor casually wrote, as if his previous methods were just drinking water and eating. Zamsha and Hikari are now scarred and unable to even stand up. Go to hell. The Ampere Star Man reached out and grasped, causing the phoenix nest to fall into a continuous explosion. Ah! As the final blow was about to fall, Zamsha's resolute figure blocked in front of the phoenix nest. This is the meaning of guarding. Bang! After speaking, Zamsha's body collapsed with a loud bang. This great swordsman from the universe, at the last moment, understood the significance of protection and dedicated his life to the humanity of Krugais. Zamsha. The sun is brighter than the wild in the future, and the sky is better than the sea. Jiolija and others are crying out with tears in their eyes. Surprisingly killed Zamsha. Hikari clenched his fist tightly, his eyes blinded by armor filled with resentment and anger. Just now, he and the cosmic swordsman Zamsha attacked together, but they were unable to cause any damage to the Amperella people. Zamsha even sacrificed himself to protect the phoenix nest. And Mengbius exhausted his strength in the battle with Empresa and could no longer transform. On one side is the cruel and ruthless Dark Emperor, while on the other side is the poor and powerless Hikari. At this point, the earth has fallen into a desperate situation. All kinds of anger surged into Hikari's heart, and he could no longer suppress his anger. He fired Spisium rays towards the Ampereans. Buzzing, the rainbow-colored Spisium light, with the hope of the earth and the anger of Hikari, shot towards the Ampere people. Will it work? Zeta World, Taiga World, Gaia World, all human beings clenched their fists and looked at this last ray of hope with hopeful eyes. It's useless. Faced with Hikari's deadly attack, the Dark Emperor simply pinched his hand and directly flew the Spisium light away. The Emperor's dull voice was full of oppression, and the audience in front of the ranking screen fell into despair. The Dark Emperor of the universe, the Ampere Star Man, surprisingly has such powerful oppression. The Kingdom of Light. Is this the strength of the Amperella people? A group of Ultraman warriors were speechless, their eyes filled with shock. Crushing the Spisium light with bare hands, such strength has completely surpassed the understanding of the archbishops. Undoubtedly, it's Captain Hikari who has the courage to take action against such enemies. Within the Science Bureau of the Kingdom of Light, a group of blue orcs cast admiring gazes at Hikari. Ah! Hikari was somewhat speechless and did not explain. Who would be afraid of such an enemy? Just watching Zamsha's death, he was blinded by anger. Within the universe prison. This is the strength of the Dark Emperor. The light power of the Ultraman warrior cannot be defeated. Beria, who was imprisoned, sneered coldly. The power of light is so weak in the face of darkness. That's also why he chose to defect to the darkness. Despair, tremble under the power of darkness. Belia watched the ranking video and kept sneering. He couldn't wait to see Hikari trembling under the attack of the Dark Emperor. Zeta World. So strong. Surprisingly, I crushed the Spisium light with my bare hands. Yao Hui widened his eyes and swallowed saliva. If he didn't have a specific measure of the power of the Dark Emperor before, he can now be said to be completely shocked. Crushing the light of Spisium with bare hands, the physical power of the Dark Emperor must have surpassed ordinary creatures. If it were me, how could I defeat this enemy? Zeta clenched her fists and simulated a battle against the Amperes in her heart. No matter how he simulates or in what form, it seems that the ultimate result is failure. He has no chance of winning. The more it is like this, the more Yao Hui and Zeta look forward to it. What kind of means will Hikari use to single-handedly confront the Amperella people later? At this moment, in the world of Hokage, everyone was shocked as they watched this list video that exceeded their expectations. The lascivious immortals. They are so big. Naruto Vortex followed Zillai out to practice and was shocked to see the scenes on the list. Warriors who use light to fight. It's very interesting. Zillai also touched his chin, and a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. What kind of Spisium light can I also practice? Teach me, the lecherous fairy. Naruto Vortex saw the scene of Hikari emitting spasms light, his eyes lit up, clamoring to practice the light. And Zillai also had a helpless expression on his face. You want to learn, I still want to learn. How can we practice the power that doesn't belong to the same world? Death World. Oh. That size can even be compared to Desu, right? Kurosaki Ichigo held hands and watched the ranking video. What a magical light. I don't know who is stronger compared to my crescent moon sky. When he saw the scene of Spisium's light shooting, Ichigo Kurosaki muttered to himself and began to compare. Stupid. On the side, Rottenwood Lukia was covered in black lines, feeling speechless about the wild imagination of Kurosaki Ichigo. The ranking video is still playing. The Dark Emperor fired vibrational waves towards Hikari. The powerful energy impact caused Hikariton to lose his combat power and he was about to fall to the ground when his legs bent. Is that all for now? Hikari's consciousness gradually blurred and he could no longer see the enemy in front of him. Sir Hikari. You can't fall down. Chapter 8. Brave Achievements. Leave an injury to the Amperella people. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Keep fighting. Zeta, Taiga, and others are frantically supporting and shouting in their own world, even though they know that this voice cannot be transmitted to Hikari's ear. Just as everyone thought everything was over, a ray of light lit up, and Hikari's mind flashed with the battle he had fought on the planet Arbor. He failed to protect that beautiful planet and fell into darkness as a result. But Abe Xing did not blame him, but instead gave him strength. The power to continue fighting. Click, the armor on Hikari's body gradually began to shatter and fall off, and his previously unstable body also froze. Thank you. Abaxing. The armor fell, and Hikari used his last bit of strength to pick up the samurai sword left by Zamsha on the ground, roaring and charging towards the Dark Emperor. Ah! Hikari's speed was extremely fast, and before the Amperellas could even react, their blue figure rushed directly towards him. Miso, the sound of knives and swords piercing into the flesh sounded, and the two crossed over. Dragon, Mobius, and Earth. It's up to you. After Hikari finished speaking, his energy ran out and his figure dissipated. And the legs of the Amperella people actually have an extra flesh wound. Ah! The Ampere Star Man roared, leaving scars on Hikari, which would be the greatest shame of his life. The Kingdom of Light. What? Hikari, that little guy, actually left a scar on the Ampere people. Father Ott was amazed as he watched a scene in the video. You should know that 30,000 years ago, he awakened his true power and, with the help of the ultimate blade, barely left a scar on the people of Amperella. But now, with his own strength, Hikari has accomplished the same feat as him. This couldn't help but refresh Otto's father's understanding of Hikari as a civil servant. The father of Ultrahot couldn't help but be shocked, and along with other young warriors watching the list in the Kingdom of Light, his chin was also shocked. Do you tell me this is called a scientist in the Kingdom of Light? There is no such power, only one-handed support for the Beiniao, the light explodes the Beiniao's belly, and a sword breaks through the defense of the Amperella people. Captain Hikari is really hiding it. The young soldiers clenched their fists, their eyes filled with infinite admiration and longing. What? Surprisingly left a scar on the Ampere people. Captain Zwafei murmured, his eyes full of disbelief. At least in that moment, Hikari was already on par with Ott's father. Otsevan's face was also full of amazement. The pinnacle of swordsmanship combined with high emotions created Hikari's stunning sword. The dismembered demon ace is also considered a skilled swordsman, and naturally can see the power of Hikari's sword. For a moment, the entire Kingdom of Light shook, with many warriors chattering around Hikari's side. Officer Hikari, what exactly is that sword move? Can you teach me? Sir Hikari, I didn't expect your swordsmanship to be comparable to your scientific research ability. I also want to become someone as civil and military as Chief Hikari. Countless soldiers swarmed in, encircling Hikari tightly. This. But Hikari just scratched his head, his expression a bit awkward. That sword is irreproducible, it is the culmination of anger and the power of arbor that can be unleashed. If you ask him to replicate it now, it's highly likely that he won't be able to do it. World. Pup, Red Kai, who had just taken a sip of Marble's soda, sprayed it out in one gulp. Is this really the sword intent that scientists can emit? Red Kai didn't even have time to wipe his face, swallowed his saliva, and murmured. He possesses the holy sword and has some understanding of swordsmanship. And it was precisely because of this that he realized the level of Hikari's stunning sword in the universe. Similarly, the World, on the other side. Gagula wiped the snake heart sword in his hand, a hint of surprise flashing in his eyes. As both warriors wielding swords, he was able to shock this cold-hearted person, and Hikari's attack can be imagined to be so powerful. Of course, this surprise only appeared for a moment before disappearing completely. Haha. Hikari. I'm not interested in anything like the Dark Emperor. Gagula murmured to herself, with a seductive smile appearing at the corner of her mouth. The only thing that interests me is you, Kai. Ha ha ha. After speaking, Gagula looked up at the sky and smiled, looking like a madman. Azu. Red Kai from another part of the world sneezed and felt a chill all over. Did you catch a cold? K-76 planet. Hikari's swordsmanship has reached its peak. During the training break, Leo watched a scene in the video and muttered to himself. Being distracted can lead to accidents. However, young Master Sero did not speak of martial arts and seized the opportunity to launch a surprise attack with a flying kick. Of course, Leo easily reacted and threw Sero away. Do you see, Sero, Hikari's swordsmanship has reached perfection in order to leave scars on the Dark Emperor. The training we are giving you now is all for paving the way for your future. Leo's earnest teachings. Shoo. Sero wiped the corner of his lips and stood up, his face disdainful, but his heart was also shaken by Hikari's stunning sword. Why don't we stop practicing this body technique in the future and go find Hikari to practice swordsmanship? This idea sprouted in Sero's heart. Dig a world. What a powerful sword. The members of the Horai team murmured, their chubby faces squeezed together, feeling very pleased. What a fast speed. I can't see the movement clearly. The new city team members also said the same. Vice Captain Zhongfang and Yi Rui were speechless, both immersed in Hikari's stunning sword. The hope that erupts from the desperate situation. Captain Jie Jianhui's lips curved into a charming smile, indicating a strong interest in Hikari's sword. The team members who were most deeply affected by the vibration were naturally the Daegu team members. Such a powerful blow. Would it be possible for me to do it? Daegu looked at the divine light stick in his hand and his heart trembled. Before playing the meme video, he had a slight sense of superiority in his ability to transform into an ultra warrior, believing that after transforming into a giant, he could also be considered a strong person. But this video can be described as giving him a small knife to stab his butt, and it really opened his eyes. Outside of our own universe, there are so many powerful Ultraman warriors and so many terrifying enemies. Leaving aside the Ampere Star Man, if only Bermonston invaded his own world, he wouldn't have the confidence to pass. We still need to exercise well. Dagu's heart was filled with such emotion. Captain Zhu Jianhui glanced sideways at Dagu, and a strange light flashed in his eyes. Chapter 9. Ultrahot Stems. Since ancient times, losing to the left side of the wave. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Gaia World. Scientists can also have such powerful power. My dream of the high mountains made me tremble all over, and my momentum suddenly rose. At the same time, he also became increasingly determined to become the most capable scientist and the most capable researcher among the Ultraman warriors. This is the pinnacle of swordsmanship. At the seaside, the sea breeze howled, and Fujiya Hirano looked at the endless sea, reminiscing about Hikari's sword in his heart. In the midst of the electric sparks and stones, he glimpsed the true mystery of swordsmanship. In the future, you must personally go to the Kingdom of Light and learn swordsmanship from Hikari. Fujiya Hirano secretly swore to himself. Being able to make this arrogant scientist say these words shows that Hikari has left an indelible impression on him. In the video, as Hikari's figure dissipates, the entire scene gradually turns black. In the black screen, 3 big characters slowly appeared. This scene is over. Hikari's meme video is over. All viewers in the universe are somewhat unsatisfied and looking forward to watching the next meme video. As the screen rotates, Hikari's figure emerges above it, and rows of golden characters begin to float below. This time's meme. I am just a scientist, not as powerful as them, and not just to show everyone Hikari's divine bravery. But I want to tell everyone not to judge easily as a single person. Even blue ultras who excel in scientific research can unleash amazing combat power. Seizing that glimmer of hope in a desperate situation and fighting back with all one's might is the spirit of Ultraman. As soon as the 3-line characters appeared, almost all viewers of the universe fell into silence. They didn't expect that behind a simple meme video, there was such a profound meaning. Hokage World. Don't judge easily as a person. Although I am called the crane tail, I also have a heart that wants to become stronger. Naruto Vortex looked at the 3 golden characters and clenched his fist, his eyes burning with fiery flames. A lascivious fairy. I want to continue practicing. Speak up. Naruto quickly stepped aside and continued practicing ninjutsu. This kid. Zillai also smiled and shook his head, looking at the video, feeling emotional in his heart. Unexpectedly, a meme playing video enhanced Naruto's fighting spirit. It seems that he still needs to give a good thank you to this so-called worldwide meme video. Jetta World. At this moment, Asakura Lu had just gained the power of the sublimator and knew that he was the child of the evil Ultraman Beria, feeling extremely sad in his heart. But the big characters at the end of the meme video reignited his confidence. What about Belia's child? I'm an auto warrior. I want to protect everyone I cherish. Chao Tsunglu clenched the sublimator in his hand and strengthened his belief. Dragon Ball World. Oh, what kind of bullshit spirit. King Frieza sat on the throne of the spaceship, his face disdainful, and his long tail swayed back and forth behind him. A lowly person is a lowly person, no matter how popular they are, they cannot defeat those who are naturally talented in combat. Frieza didn't pay much attention to the teachings in the meme video, and even found it a bit boring. If it weren't for the fact that the video contained a profound message that couldn't be interfered with, he probably would have hit the screen with a punch long ago. The 3 rows of golden characters in the screen slowly fade away, replaced by a row of input fields with 2 large characters written on the side, bullet comments. Bullet screen function. What is this? Many viewers of the universe are very curious and open the input with a mindset of trying. In no time, barrage after barrage flooded in, brushing the screen in the picture. What is barrage? Can it be eaten? Pirate King Luffy, who? Who's Wang Luffy? Death God Kurosaki Ichigo, Wanshiwu, a versatile house that can do anything. Has there been a boss who commissioned work? Silver Soul Sakata Inshur, Junior Cultivators, you are obstructing my king's eyes. Fate Gilgamesh, who is the miscellaneous cultivator? Let's have a fight. Dragon Ball Vegeta. Such barrage constantly emerges, including those who advertise, those who casually water, and those who curse across the air, which is extremely exciting. Dana World. Ah, the outside world is so fun. Fanny Axon sat on a chair in the command room, spinning around aimlessly, his mouth curling high. Seeing the world in the meme video, this person who will become a wanderer on the universe street in the future has ignited a raging fire in their heart, and they strongly want to explore other universes. Come on, you can make sure that flying a plane won't crash first, then consider these things. Gongmural Young angrily glanced at the flying bird and continued to busy himself with the work at hand. The emergence of meme playing videos has caused the Super Victory team to lose control, and the TPC senior management has issued a death order to quickly find the mastermind behind the video release. Now the whole Super Victory team is in a mess, except that the flying bird looks like it's irrelevant and lazy. I said, will this meme video show Dana's visuals? A flash of inspiration flashed in the bird's mind, and it turned its head to look at its teammates, eagerly asking questions. Dana. I'm not sure. Anyway, you won't appear. Why bother with so much? Green River Dance smiled and said. If there are any, I really hope there will be exciting scenes of Dana's battle. Just like Hikari's stunning sword just now. The flying bird became more playful and sat on a chair pretending to hold a sword with both hands, chopping wildly. He also wants his own battle scenes to be published in all universes, with a long face. Of course, it would be even better if one could not expose their human identity. Captain Shibi, there has been a new change in the scene. When the flying bird went crazy, the Nakajima team members hurriedly pointed to the video footage of playing memes, and almost all the team members immediately looked at the video. Inventory of odd world characters and hot stories. Next scene. From ancient times, we lost to the left side of Bo, except for the pig Dana. Dana. Everyone's gaze turned to the flying bird, feeling a bit confused. Did you really get this kid right? What are you looking at me for? The flying bird was stared at by everyone and felt a little nervous. Subconsciously, it turned to look at the list, and in an instant, its hair stood on end. This title doesn't seem like a positive material no matter how it looks. The Kingdom of Light. Hey guys, is there any mystical factor behind losing on the left side of Bo? A group of young Ultraman soldiers curiously asked the first generation, Ultraman, and other veteran soldiers. I guess so, although I don't know why. The person standing on the right will have more blessings when the light is in opposition. The first generation pondered for a moment and gave this argument. At least so far. I haven't seen anyone who has lost right against Bo Neng. Chapter 10. The Bitter Flying Bird. Kneeling to beg for flowers and moon. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Light King Ace shrugged and gave a conclusion. I see. Even the Light King Ace has said so, and the new generation of Ultra Warriors naturally believe it without doubt. At the same time, a strong curiosity arose in their hearts. How could Dana still lose against Bo from the right? Play the meme video now. At the beginning of the video, Feilu performs a patrol mission and says goodbye to a group of children. Goodbye. Just go home and don't run around. After bidding farewell to the child, the Flying Bird team members sat on stone stools and happily picked up their lunch. What he didn't notice was that a camera was being raised from behind, aimed at his every move. It's great. It seems that because there was no one around, the bird opened its bloody mouth and bit the hot dog with one bite. Its comfortable white eyes rolled up, looking very ridiculous. Subsequently, the bird sucked heavily on the orange juice as if savoring fine wine. Of course, these funny scenes were captured by the camera. Eat and drink enough, sleep well. After finishing their lunch, the flying bird gathered on the stone bench and began its afternoon nap. And the little girl holding a camera, Natsumi Kudo, went straight to the side of Feilu and connected the camera to Feilu's face, performing a round of 5 death shots. Hey! The bird was so scared that it jumped up and instinctively wanted to pull out a gun, until it saw the little girl's face and finally relaxed. Hello, my name is Natsumi Kudo. I want to come into your base to take photos. Is that okay? Kudo Natsumi seems to have arrived prepared, which directly indicates her purpose. Oh, you little girl, you're so angry. How could you just enter our Super Victory team's base at your word? The bird hugged its chest with both hands and made a funny face. TSK TSK TSK. If you don't agree, then I can only send a photo of you lazily taking a nap to the magazine. The little girl ran away with a coquettish smile. Everyone, look. The Flying Bird team members are slacking off and sleeping while carrying out tasks. Kudo Natsumi runs ahead, while the Flying Bird starts chasing behind. No, why don't we discuss it again? As the two were chasing, 4 huge swords suddenly appeared in the sky, piercing straight into the ground and splashing countless dust. Dana World. The members of the Super Victory team cast contemptuous glances at the Flying Bird at the same time. Captain Shibi's head was covered in black lines, and his face was gloomy as if it was about to drip. No, Captain, listen to me explain. The Flying Bird secretly thought something was wrong in its heart and quickly wanted to argue. No need to explain. Captain Shibi angrily said, reaching out and pointing his death finger at the bird's forehead. You're slacking off while carrying out official duties. According to team rules, you'll be fined 50 laps on the training ground. Captain Shibi's neck was bursting with veins as he roared. Didn't the team rules say 10 laps would be enough? The bird's face turned into a bitter melon face. I added you the remaining 40 laps. Do you have any objections? No, I'm going right away. The bird was startled and took off its coat before running towards the training ground. Dig a world. The victorious team looked at each other in confusion. How dare you sleep while performing official duties? The members of the Horai team shook their heads. Chasing good women on the street, bah. It's so ungrateful. Lena member roast. Daegu, are you right? Lena looked at Daegu. The latter, however, stared blankly at the 4 large swords thrown in the video, feeling deeply emotional and drifting. Daegu. What did you say? Daegu suddenly woke up and awkwardly scratched his head. His attention was completely drawn to those 4 large swords. Even through the video footage, he could feel the extraordinary qualities of those 4 swords. It's like a very ancient weapon. I asked you what you had for lunch today. Ah, yes, yes. Daegu replied absent-mindedly. You guy. Lena rolled her eyes and secretly decided to sever ties with Daegu for 10 minutes. The Kingdom of Light. What weapon is that? I always feel very mysterious. The new generation soldiers of the Kingdom of Light were stunned as they looked at the 4 large swords that suddenly appeared. Such a massive weapon, even if wielded by Ultraman warriors, would probably be a bit laborious. What kind of people can use this weapon? Still using 4 at once. The new generation is still confused, while the older generation of Ultraman warriors can see that something is wrong. That's not a weapon. More like a formation. The knowledgeable first generation groped their chin and speculated. No, it's not a formation, it's a arena. Ot Siwen's words revealed the mystery, and all the AO looked again. The 4 big swords truly surrounded the field. I see. Is this also related to the upcoming battle? A series of questions appeared in the minds of the Olympic team, and they were increasingly looking forward to the next development. Fate World. Oh. Our ancient giant weapons. Gilgamesh embraced his chest with both hands, and a hint of interest appeared in his ruby-like eyes. I really want to put this thing into my royal treasure trove. One Piece World. Sauron. Look. What a big sword. Luffy sat at the bow of the ship and enthusiastically pointed to the scene in the video. Fool, how can that be considered a weapon? At most, it's just a decoration. Sauron disdained it. Isn't this bulky weapon just right for you, stupid green algae head? Yamaji walked by with a dinner plate, and a god roast came. Hey. Sanji, do you want to fight? On the Golden Mary, there was once again a complete martial arts scene of chasing after each other. The video continues to play. Under the guidance of the command center, the flying bird quickly arrived at the scene and was responsible for evacuating the crowd. Please step back. It's very dangerous ahead. Feilu looked helpless as she evacuated the crowd. Seizing the opportunity, Natsumi Kudo, who was mixed in with the crowd, crawled directly under Feilu's crotch and prepared to go to the scene to take photos and bring out big news. Hey. You guy. Don't run around. The flying bird instantly noticed Natsumi Kudo, who was running away, shouting loudly and rushing towards the little girl, blocking her and not allowing her to continue moving forward. However, the little girl started shouting for help as soon as the bird hugged her. Help. The Super Victory team members are playing hooligans. He held me tightly. 3 loud cries for help in a row caught everyone's attention. The surging and noisy crowd instantly fell silent, and everyone stared at the flying bird with complex eyes. It's broken. She slandered me. The bird was stunned for a moment, and Kudo Natsumi stepped on the bird's footsteps, taking advantage of the bird's lack of attention and fleeing directly. Hey! The flying bird cried out in pain, and just then, a lightning bolt flashed across the sky. A familiar behemoth slowly descended.